Hello, this video will train you in how to use the Sales Manager function. If you go up here to where it says Sales Manager, you'll get a drop down that shows you Customer Dashboard, Prospect Status List, Quote Status List, and Reports. So your Customer Dashboard is where you'll be doing most of your activity. When you look in here, you'll see a list of prospects, customers, and inactive customers and prospects. Now before you start using the dashboard, you're going to want to make sure you've got some statuses set up. So you go to Sales Manager, and under Prospect Status List, these are the statuses of your prospects. I've got in progress, so maybe I want to add a new status for my prospects. I'm going to click on Add, and I'm going to call it Qualifying. That way I'll know what status my prospects are in. I can assign these to my prospects, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Also under Sales Manager, before you can create quotes, you need to create quote statuses. So I go to Quote Status, and I've got accepted quotes, quotes that are under review. I want to add something called New. So I'm going to create New, save it. So now I've got 3 statuses I can assign to my quotes. So now that I've created some prospect statuses and quote statuses, I'm ready to use my dashboard. So I click on Dashboard, and as I said, you get a list of prospects, get a list of your customers. This is the same list you would see in your admin list, and inactive customers and prospects. To add a new prospect, very simple, just click on Add, click on start entering their name. Now again, this is just like with any other thing in ITS Dispatch, anything with a red asterisk is a mandatory field. So you must fill those in. Pick your city from the drop-down. Enter all your mandatory fields. And once you're done, click on Save. Now I have my new prospect. And it's got the status created, but remember we created those prospect statuses. I could actually change this to in progress, inactive, or qualifying. So I'm going to say this one's an in progress. Now there are different icons at the end of your prospect. You'll see a pencil. That's just where you go in to edit their profile. You also have a queue. This is where we create quotes. So I'm going to create a quote for this new prospect. I click on the queue, and it comes up with the customer name, the status. I'm going to change this to new. I'm going to put in my reference number, and now I'm ready to create my quote. So I type in my origin, pick it from the drop-down, my destination, from the drop-down, a description of the load. If there are any stops, I can add stops in here. So maybe I'm going to swing by New York on my way. It adds those miles. Say OK. So now I've got one stop, total of 973 miles. Select my equipment, what the weight of the load is. Then I do a rate lookup by clicking on this little graph. You don't have to use that if you know what you're going to be charging them, but sometimes it's convenient just to have a look at what the average cost is for, or the average rate is for this load. So I'm going to put in my rate. I'm going to be charging them $500. They don't have a fuel surcharge associated with their account. If I want, I can enter it here. I can say maybe they're having a rate of 10% for $50. Say OK. If I have any additional charges, I can put them in here. And then finally, if I've agreed with a carrier to do this load, I can put that information in here. You can also add a lane just by clicking on Add Lane. Maybe it's going a different way. Maybe this one's going from New York down to Miami. Still books. No, well, we'll say there. We're just going to say no stops, even though, of course, there probably would be with that long a route. This time I don't need to look it up. I know how much I'm going to charge them. $800 with a 10% fuel surcharge. Let's just put that in. And OK. I'm not charging them for tarps this time. Now that I've created my quote, I can either save it or I can save and print it. If I save and print it, it's going to open up my PDF for me so I can have a look at it. And this is the quote that you've just created. So there's the quote date, the reference number, sales rep hasn't been assigned yet. There's our logo, there's the customer's name, there are the 2 lanes, and all the details associated with those 2 lanes. So now when I go to New Prospect, if I click on Quotes over here, I'll see there are my quotes for that particular prospect. Same thing if I click on TAN Solutions, there are all its quotes. X-Ray, there are all its quotes. And we have something here called Scheduler. This is where you can set up appointments. So I'm going to be meeting with my new prospect at 9:30. I'm just going to say set up meeting with NP for new prospect. I can put any details for that meeting down there. Click on save, and here we have set up meeting with NP. New prospect tells you who it is. So this is an easy way for your sales reps to see who's meeting with whom and when they need to be getting together and converting that prospect to a customer. Now up here where it says search, you can search on your prospect's name if you want. Or if you were a customer, you could do the same thing. I can search for a particular customer. You can also search on quotes. If I click on quotes, search quotes, my origin. So maybe I want to see any quotes going from New York. And again, we select it from the drop down, going to Chicago. And I do search. And I've got 3 quotes. Now these quotes could be for different prospects. If we look here, this quote was one I created for X-Ray Associates. Here's one that was created for Test 1. And this quote was created for TAN Solutions. So they're all different customers or prospects, but this is the parameters that I was searching on. I wanted to see some quotes I'd originally created, just to maybe compare for future reference. You can also export these lists to Excel. So if I want a list of my prospects, I can click on the green X, and I can get all my customers exported out to an Excel spreadsheet. And there they are. And again, this is based on all sales reps. You can select a specific sales rep if you want, and just look at what their quotes and scheduled events are. Under Sales Manager, we also have reports. If you click on reports, you'll see category all reports, or you can select it. Prospect conversions, meetings, quotes, quote lanes. You can do it by all prospects and customers or just a particular prospect. Which sales reps you want to look at. You can break it out by sales rep, customer, or quote status. Then you've got your, whether you want to do it by year, quarter, month, or day, and then you can put in your custom date range. Click on download, open it up, and here we have some quotes. Alright, that concludes this video on Sales Manager. Thank you very much.